guys, Alec Peirce at the ranch, at the shop, at the garage, actually, with my Ranger, my UTV Ranger. It's a bit tilted there, dear. Anyway, we're just doing some work on it. It's the fall right now, and I completely service my machinery, like the Ranger, every fall, and then again in the spring. The fall is the most important. I do a complete top to bottom, because we're going into the winter months, and I don't want to be working on it in the winter, and I want it well prepared for the cold weather, so all kinds of things. And I've added quite a few things to this Ranger over the years. It's liquid cooled, so I have a heater, and it's one of the inline heaters, so it heats the water, not a block heater. It heats the water, and it works pretty good. A few other things, a lot of lights and stuff like that. But I'm adding something right this very minute. Can you see this down here? I'm adding something right this minute. Something we've talked about for a long time, because quite frankly, what is supplied by Peirce in this case, or all manufacturers of ATVs, in terms of gas level, how much gas you have in your tank, is a joke. It really is. It's this thing. You've all seen them. You know, they got a little float down here, and it goes up like this. And as it goes up, it turns the dial in the end. And you can see this one's busted. The dial turns. But then these things eventually stop floating. They don't float anymore. No, they lose their buoyancy. And so eventually, now what you do, it doesn't work. And this thing sticks out, and the glass gets broken off. And it never acts. Just a butt. I hate it. So a little while ago on Amazon, I spotted a gas gauge kit that I thought would work really, really well in an ATV or UTV, and I bought one, and I think it's going to be great. I think, okay? Now, normally, any of you guys are mechanics, you know when you buy a gas gauge kit, you usually get a float mechanism that goes into the gas tank, and you get a gauge that goes onto the dash. But a gauge that goes onto the dash is simple. It's a gauge. It's a gas gauge. Gas gauge, yeah. Gas gauge. It says empty or full, somewhere in between. Just that simple. And that's easy. You drill the proper size hole, you put the screw in the back and plug the thing into the back. That's easy. The part that I was concerned about was the part that goes into the gas tank, because this is not an automotive gas tank. It's not big. The normal gas gauge sender unit, what it's called, goes through a hole in the top, and it has an arm on it. And the arm could be anywhere from 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 inches long. And on the end of the arm, there's a float. And so it goes up and down like this. And this end of the arm is attached to a rheostat, potentiometer or rheostat, whichever. You electronic guys will know the difference. And as this goes up and down, it sends a signal to the gauge and tells you what level of gas. Well, I didn't want that type, because first of all, it's hard to get in. Secondly, I didn't know the length, and it moves up and down. And thirdly, they're a little susceptible to rough, shaking and banging around, which you get with a UTV. If you own one, you know what I'm talking about. And a little harder to install. I just didn't like the whole idea. So I saw this gas gauge on eBay, and I said, hey, that's the answer. Here it is. There's the sender unit. Yeah, it's simple. It's a stainless steel rod with a little bit of gasket goo on it. A stainless steel rod. I've already started putting this in, you see. And it has a float, a nice float, and the float moves up and down like so. And somehow or other, inside the rod, there's a sensor. So as this float goes up, it sends a signal from the wires to that gauge. Tells you how much is in it. Just that easy. But you see the beauty of it? No float, no banging. It's tough, it's rough. No banging around. There's more gasket goo on there, Diana. Diana's helping me, so it was getting a bit messy out here. Anyway, so I bought this thing, and I'm putting it in right now, and I think it's going to work beautifully. I will let you know in the future, but if you are, as similarly as we, hate these things, consider one of these. They're not expensive, easy to install. You got to be a little bit careful when you empty the gas tank. First, drill your hole, and then make sure you clean it all out, because there are going to be some plastic drippings in there. So you make about 1.5 inch hole, and then there's 5 bolts that screw into the plastic to hold it in place, and a gasket, and use lots of Loctite gasket maker. Loctite's about the best gasket maker. Make sure it's sealed really well. Stick it together, connect the wires, boom. Right there in your dash, it tells you how much gas you have. It's going to be fantastic. Good idea, I hope, anyway, and it should work. And when I finish putting this in, put the 4 bolts, put the gas tank back in, and go 4-wheeling. That's it. Alec Peirce at the ranch. Little idea for you. Take care. Bye-bye.